Ready?
No, give me 1 second, please.
Okay.
Okey dokey.
I just want to get on live and it's not going.
We didn't go out of order.
Ah,
to
we're
this
good.
thing.
Okay.
Go before public comment.
I am ready.
Whatever you want. Do it before.
So we get the 3 seconds.
You make a motion, want me to second it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm good.
We're good?
Yes.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Today is the Mayor and Council work session for Wednesday, February 12th on 2025, 7 p.m. This meeting is also being conducted telephonically. The dial-in number is 425-436-6365, and the access code is 213563 #. The meeting may also be viewed on the Ramsey YouTube channel, and that is available by going to the Ramsey website, and it will be listed on the front page. You can simply click on it and get into the meeting. May we have roll call, please, Ms. Bendian?
Mayor Dillon,
Here.
Councilwoman Cusick, Councilman Gutwetter,
Here.
Councilman Kilman,
Here.
Councilman Popolo,
Here.
Councilwoman Poppy,
Here.
Councilwoman Woods.
Here.
You stand for flag salute, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The New Jersey Open Public Meetings Law was enacted to ensure the right of all citizens to have advance notice of and to attend all meetings of public bodies at which any business affecting the public is discussed or acted upon. In accordance with the provisions of this act, notice of this meeting and the mayor, council, was published in the Bergen Record and the Suburban News on Wednesday, January 12th, 2025. Do we have approval of minutes?
I would like to make a motion to approve the minutes from the January 22nd, 2025 meeting. And I second?
Any comments on those minutes? Not hearing any, may we have a roll call, please?
Councilman Gutwetter,
Yes.
Councilman Kilman,
Yes.
Councilman Popolo,
Yes.
Councilwoman Poppy,
Yes.
Councilwoman Woods.
Yes.
Thank you. May we have a motion to review and receive the communications?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to review and receive the communications as listed on the agenda.
And I second that. Are there any comments on the communications received? Not hearing any. Do we have a roll call, please, Ms. Bendian?
Councilman Gutwetter,
Yes.
Councilman Kilman,
Yes.
Councilman Popolo,
Yes.
Councilwoman Poppy,
Yes.
Councilwoman Woods.
Yes.
At this time, I would like to make a motion to go out of order so that the mayor can do the special appointments. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll do the swearing in of Officer Burrower.
The Bible's on. Yep.
I,
Aiden Brewer,
Aidan Brewer,
solemnly swear
solemnly swear
that I will faithfully,
that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform
and justly perform
all the duties
all the duties
of the office of
of the office of
Ramsey Police Department
Ramsey Police Department
Probationary Officer
Probationary Officer
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
I do further solemnly swear
I do further solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the State of New Jersey,
of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the same
to the same
and to the governments established
and to
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Do you want to say anything, Chief?
Yeah, just, I apologize, usually we do this before they start the academy, but we wanted to make sure he didn't get thrown out. So we gave him about a month, but, just to Aiden's credit, we looked to hire 2 police officers when he took our test, and, we just don't take anyone. And so Aiden was the only officer that we hired, even though we needed 2. I think it speaks to his character. We're looking for intelligent people that can make decisions that we think will handle themselves well under pressure, and he fit the bill for us. So we expect good things out of him. We told him as soon as he gets out of the academy to expect work, and that's what we expect out of all our officers. I want to thank the council, and especially the mayor, for the support, and welcome aboard.
Thanks, sir.
Welcome aboard. Do you have an extra pen?
We'll find out. Just gonna list your appointments.
We have to do, I can't swear them in until the consent resolutions.
They're not on consent.
I can't swear them in until after the consent resolution.
They're not on.
They're not on consent.
I'll swear you in after the consent resolutions approving the appointments, okay?
Deirdre?
Yes.
They're not on consent, it's just mayoral.
Oh, they're
so
not?
if you wanna go for-
Oh, perfect. I thought they were on the consent resolutions. Well, let's do it right now then. While we're at it.
We'll continue staying out of order for the appointments. For the foreseeable future.
Well, you can have the appointment. I don't know on consent.
Oh, yeah.
You wanna go?
Let me appoint them. You have to stay in order.
Okay,
Okay.
okay, is that it? All right. Good. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night. Take care.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah. We're gonna make a motion to return back into the regular order. Make that motion.
I second.
Thank you very much. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Yeah, we're going back in.
Okay.
Okay.
Let me find the public comment.
Thank you again, sir. Just one minute, that's 6:05.
Yeah, we're going to public comment now.
Yeah, no, but I'm looking for the, oh, never
Right
mind.
there.
Never mind me. Anyone wishing to address the governing body, please give your name, spelling the last name and address. Please speak in an audible tone and address your comment to the chair. There will be a 5-minute time limit per speaker unless reduced because of the volume of business on the agenda. Please note, public comment is your time. Out of respect and fairness to all, there will be no interruptions or questions answered during your time. No time shall be ceded to anyone else, and no time shall be saved for later use. Any responses may be given during the governing body's comments later in the meeting, or as directed by the chair. The borough clerk is the official timekeeper. This will be the first call of anyone on the line or anyone in the room today if they have any kind of public comment. anyone, we'll do a second call for public comment on the telephone line or in the room today. Not hearing anyone, we will make a third and final call for public comment on the telephone or in the room. Not hearing anyone, we will close public comment. And since there is no advertised public hearing for final consideration of ordinances, I turn it over to Mayor Dillon.
Thank you. I hereby make the following appointments. Colin Gurney, Ramsey Municipal Alliance, Jessica Gurney, Ramsey Municipal Alliance, and Boleyn Scanlon, Ramsey Municipal Alliance. Want to come up and get sworn in? There we go. I don't know if anybody wants to use the Bible. Ready? Okay, please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name. Solemnly swear. That I'll faithfully. Impartially. And justly perform. All the duties. Of the office of. Municipal Alliance. According to the best of my ability. I do further solemnly swear. That I will support the Constitution. Of the State of New Jersey. And that I will bear true faith and allegiance. To the same. And to the governments established. In the United States. And in this state. Under the authority of the people. So help me God. Thanks for doing this. I really do appreciate stepping up to help the municipal lines. So if you just get to yours. Colin. And do you need a pen? Okay. You have one. Okay, you just fill it out on the right-hand side. And then, and then just hand it to, on the spending list.
Do the kids want to come up and take a picture with them, you and the mayor? I think the kids want to take a picture with them and the mayor. With the family, with you.
Oh,
Of course. You want to take a picture with your check? You got it? Come on over.
Do you want me to take it for you? I'll come down.
Good, how are you?
thank you.
So they didn't scare
Thank you so much, I
They
appreciate it.
didn't scare you off on the 4th, at the last meeting, we didn't scare you off?
No,
You fell through it,
You guys want
and
to get a family
you
picture?
kept continuing?
Oh, good for that. Thank you. Where's Linda? Oh, thank you. Next time. Okay, and Steve, is it filled out?
Yes.
All right, yours. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for coming. Thanks for coming, girls.
David, she wants to stay and listen.
We always want company. Thank you. Nice to see you.
Gonna get boring quick.
Take care, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
Appreciate it.
Bye.
Good night.
Be safe out there.
Thank you.
Good.
You guys all say
me pass this down to Councilman Gutwett.
Councilman Go.
Okay.
Okey-doke.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you.
We will now move to consent resolutions. Councilman Michael Gutwett.
Thank you, Council President Tillman. Be it resolved that resolutions 041-2025 through and including 048-2025, having been considered by the governing body of the Borough of Ramsey, be and are hereby passed and approved. We have a couple of special permit requests this evening. The Knights of Columbus is requesting permission to hold their annual fundraiser April 4th through April 6th in front of various Ramsey businesses with permission from the all store owners and the Ramsey Farmers Market on April 6th. The Women's Club of Ramsey is requesting permission to hold their annual tomato and vegetable plant sale on Saturday, May 17th, 2025 at the Masonic Lodge parking lot from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. And I can guarantee that Councilman Gutwetter will be in attendance that day.
I'll second it.
Block party requests, there are none this evening.
I'll
Thank
second
you.
that too.
All right. Since we have completed the special presentations, we will move now.
You need a.
Bruce is,
Oh, roll call, please.
Councilman Gutwetter,
Yes.
Councilman Kilman,
Yes.
Councilman Popolo,
Yes.
Councilwoman Poppy,
Yes.
Councilwoman Woods.
Yes.
All right. We have special presentations. And I don't see Adrian Brewer. So Administrator Bruce Fozay, budget presentation.
Thank you, Council President Kilman. I would just like to go through kind of the annual municipal budget presentation for the 2025 budget. Before, I'll just talk a little bit about a timeline. Tonight, we're doing our budget presentation. The planned schedule is to introduce the budget at the next mayor and council meeting on February 26th, and then advertise the budget, hold the public hearing and adoption of the budget at the March 26th meeting. Every 3 years, each municipality in the state, on a rotating basis, has to go through submitting their budget for not just a cursory, but a formal exam from the state. So the date for the public hearing could potentially move based on the state's review and how, but that's why we like to try to file early, so the state review is timely before a lot of towns have actually filed their budget. So hopefully we'll be able to hold to those timelines. Moving into the budget presentation for this year, the 2025 budget, we have the same challenges that everyone's facing in the economy between health insurance and some of the escalating expenses in just general purchasing and other essential services the borough provides. But this budget's focused on the delicate balance between minimizing the tax burden and also investing in the borough's vital services and aging infrastructure. For 2025, our appropriation lines for salaries and operating costs, which make up collectively, are increasing by 2.04%, up from 2024 levels, and these make up about 2/3 of the total appropriations budget for the 2025 year, and we are compliant with all the state appropriation caps and in fact well below the caps. Borough's debt levels, the 2025 includes principal pay down on debt of about $2.22 million, which is an increase of $1 million from 2024. Approximately 20% of that principal pay down is from grants the borough sought out received for the much needed improvements, mitigating the cost to residents. Ramsey's municipal debt level remains one of the lowest among the 13 Northwest Bergen municipalities and under 10% of what the state allows for a community of our size. This increase in paydown will maintain the borough's strong, low-leverage financial position, leaving Ramsey in position to utilize the long-term debt markets for large capital infrastructure projects in the upcoming years. The property tax reassessment and revaluation, we've discussed previously last year when we started this. It'll be detailed a little more in the upcoming slides, but the borough-wide county-mandated property tax revaluation will take effect in 2025 with final certified property taxes in the third quarter of this year. The municipal tax rate, as indicated, we've had some inflationary costs and operating expenses which have impacted the budget. As noted, we're more aggressively paying down debt in 2025 to position ourselves for necessary investments upcoming and long-term projects, which will benefit the town for years to come. The combination of these items, the 2025 budget with a collective municipal tax rate increase of 3.95%, and we are also in compliance with the New Jersey state tax levy cap and well below that levy cap. Circling back to the 2025 property tax revaluation, again, last year, the Bergen County Board of Taxation ordered Ramsey to perform the borough-wide property revaluation or reassessment. The order was given as Ramsey's borough-wide valuation had dropped below the county threshold to current market conditions, which mandated the revaluation. The borough hired appraisal systems to perform the revaluation, and the process is in its final steps now to ultimately become approved and certified by the County Board of Taxation, as I said, in the third quarter of this year. Property tax revaluation is net neutral to the borough. The property tax revaluation is net neutral overall tax impact to the borough. The new property valuations will create a new net value taxable for the borough as a whole, and the property tax rate will be adjusted down by the same percentage as the new net value taxable goes up. For example, the total sum in Ramsey's case of all new property assessed values are about 42% higher than the total net value taxable prior to the revaluation. Therefore, the tax rate will decrease accordingly. This produces the same tax dollars to the borough when multiplying the new higher net value taxable times the new lower tax rate. While this is net neutral as a whole for the borough, individual properties will see different impacts to their property tax amounts depending upon their individual properties change compared to the borough average. Appraisal Systems mailed out customized individual letters to property owners in early January of this year, illustrating the impact to that specific property and instructions for any property owner who wanted further information or to set up an appointment to review their assessment. So, as mentioned, the tax rate last year in 2024 was collectively between municipal, school, library, and county, $2.822 per $100 of assessed value. That rate will now, the equivalent rate for 2024 with the new assessed value for town-wide, which has gone up, as I mentioned, 42%, will now be, instead of $2.822 per $100 of assessed value, it will now be $0.986 per $100 of assessed value. So again, to make everything neutral, the rate will go down. Breakdown of your property tax bill, approximately a little over 2/3, or about 68%, goes to the schools, 20% to municipality, roughly 10% to the county, and a little over 1% to the library. Historically, looking at the property tax rates and the components that go into the cumulative tax rate for the borough, with the four components, over the last 8 years, the overall tax rate, inclusive of all the components, is 2.67% on average. The municipal portion is 2.66, so basically right on the average of the whole rate. The school is 2.75% component, again, right along with the average. County a little lower, 2.24, library a little higher, 2.84. So basically all four components of your tax rates over the last 8 years have kind of moved very similarly, and again been collectively under 3% in total. Breakdown, looking at, again, where the dollars go, we talked about percentages, but just to last year, the average residential assessment was about $535,000. So for a home that would have been assessed at that amount last year, a little over $10,000 in the $15,000 that of total property taxes that home would pay. A little over $10,000 went to schools, about $3,000 to municipal, $1,500 to the county, and $200 to the library. So again, the looking at the breakdown of the budget this year, it will be, as I mentioned, just under a 4% increase in the 3.9s. And we will have some of the things that we highlighted earlier. In terms of that, there will be a larger debt pay down, a little less in capital this year in the budget, as we had a lot higher capital investment last year that is still, some of that is still in reserve for this year. So those are the changes. In looking at revenue as a whole, 74% of the revenue in the budget comes from property taxes. There's some utilization of our surplus, which we'll talk about a little later in the presentation. There's some local revenue that we collect from different things, building fees, that kind of stuff when you're doing improvements. There's a little bit of state aid. Our state aid actually this year, the final numbers have not been out, but there was an additional $150,000 about in the budget last year that the state had done across statewide, where they gave a little more in aid last year. We don't think that's to be anticipated this year, so we have left it out of the budget. But the governor's budget address is the end of this month, so we'll see if anything changes on that. That's on the revenue. On the appropriation side, I talked about the changes where the salary wages line and the operating costs are only moved about 2%, and that makes up, you know, basically 2/3 of the budget. Health insurance is up across the board, consistent with the health insurance market nationwide. And we've talked about the debt and capital. In terms of the tax change, with the tax rate change this year, last year, as we said, before the revaluation, it was around $535,000 was the average assessment on a home. This year, after the revaluation, that number will go up to about $736,000. Again, the rate will be lower. So the average increase for the municipal portion of the tax increase is about just under $10 a month, $9.84 a month for that home that would be assessed at $736,000, or about $118 annually. Just in taking a look a little bit at the municipal tax rates, Ramsey compared countywide. Ramsey's municipal portion of the tax rate is the 13th lowest of the 70 towns in Bergen County. It's approximately 25% below the county average for the municipal portion. Of the 12 towns with lower municipal rates, 10 of them have higher average residential assessments, and 2 towns, Mahwah and East Rutherford, have significantly larger commercial areas. While Ramsey is the 13th lowest for the municipal portion, the overall rate for total property taxes is the 46th lowest, and about 10% above the county average. This is due to the fact that while the municipal portion is about 25% lower than county average, the school portion is about 31% above the school county average. In terms of the 13 towns in northwest Bergen County that we kind of associate and kind of do relative comparison and metrics on, you know, how we rank with them, and we have similar things. Ramsey's effective municipal tax rate in northwest Bergen County is 7th of the 13 towns. Again, 6 of those 7 either have higher average residential assessments, or Mahwah is one of those towns which again has significantly higher commercial area. So since property tax revenue is calculated as the rate times a property's assessed value, a town with higher assessed values can generate the same revenue from a property even with a lower rate. Couple more comparisons countywide and northwest Bergen-wide. Ramsey's municipal tax component of total property taxes is the 7th lowest of 70 towns in Bergen County. The ranking I discussed earlier just looks at a comparison of rates. This ranking illustrates how much of a resident's property tax dollars actually go to municipal services versus the other tax components of school, county, and library. As shown in the graph, chart, has shown Ramsey is one of the lowest tax levies for municipal services relative to the total property tax levy of any community in Bergen County, with 90% of towns sending a higher percentage of their tax dollars to municipal services than Ramsey does. In terms of percentage of a resident's tax dollars going to schools, Ramsey's in the highest 10% of Bergen County municipalities, 65th out of 70 towns, with 68% of property tax dollars going to the Board of Education. Turning to the borough's debt position, historical comparisons. Ramsey in 2018-19 did some significant capital investments, so our debt was about at its peak in those years. Those were projects with long life useful assets. This borrowing allowed the cost to be more accurately repaid over an asset's useful life. In 2024, the borough paid down $1.2 million of debt, but borrowed $1.95 for a net increase. Last year's borrowing included funding for road resurfacing, generally, our general program, municipal aid road project on Grove and East and West Oak, as well as funding for building improvements. This year, $2.6 million of principal will be paid down by March. The borough will be utilizing approximately $425,000 in revenue from grants the borough actively sought out, applied for, received, mitigating taxpayer cost of paying down this debt. In looking at debt versus the other towns in Northwest Bergen, I have mostly 2023 information was the last available for many towns. A few of them, Ramsey, Franklin Lake, Saddle River, and Wyckoff, have been updated to year-end 2024 as those are publicly posted now. Ramsey is the 5th lowest of the 13 towns in Northwest Bergen in total amount of municipal debt as a percentage of its equalized valuation basis. The state allows up to 3.5% net debt as a percentage of a town's equalized valuation. Ramsey, year-end 2024, is at 0.296, or less than 1/10 of the amount that we could borrow under the state limit. One of the factors in the budget, and that goes into the revenue side of the budget and also stays, is our fund balance or surplus balance that we start the year with and regenerate throughout the year. Surplus utilized in the municipal budget is an additional revenue line item, adding to other local revenue items and reducing the amount needed to be raised from property taxes. This usage then reduces the borough's surplus balance. Regeneration or replenishment of surplus occurs through the actual financial results during the year, with any revenue that exceeds that budgeted. In addition, underspending of budgeted amounts replenish surplus after a year of being reserved in case there are any unspent bills or that hadn't been processed by year end. So in 2024, the borough was able to, through the results of the operations, regenerate about $300,000 more than it utilized in the budget. So our surplus balance at the end of the year increased through the positive financial results for 2024. So at the end of 2024, the total surplus balance was a little over $4.5 million, of which a number portion of that will be utilized in the 2025 budget to again offset taxes. In terms of looking again to our Northwest Bergen other towns to kind of get a check on where we stand with them, of the surplus utilization implied to the revenue side of the budget, we're kind of right in the middle of the 13 towns, in line with everybody in utilizing the percentage of surplus in the budget. I will post this presentation, but just a couple final points to reiterate before I conclude here. Ramsey ranks in the lowest tier of municipal tax rates in Bergen County, with the 13th lowest of 70 municipalities municipal tax rate and the 7th lowest share of tax dollars going to municipal services for 2024. Both of these figures are more than 25% below countywide average. Ramsey maintains favorable ranking for municipal tax rates, debt, and surplus levels with other Northwest Bergen municipalities. The 2025 budget continues to pay down municipal debt while addressing necessary capital infrastructure investments and positions Ramsey well for future use of long-term debt markets for large infrastructure projects. The 2025 budget complies with both the New Jersey State appropriations cap as well as the New Jersey State tax levy cap. and it meets the objective of adopting a responsible budget in today's inflationary economy while continuing to provide a high level of service to taxpayers and incorporating capital investment and increased debt paydown for necessary projects with long-term community benefits. And that would conclude my presentation. Is there any questions?
Thank you. Great job.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rosé. Now it's time for committee and liaison reports, and I will turn it over to Councilman Michael Duttwetter for Finance and Administration.
Thank you, Council President Gilman. I just want to start off by thanking Borough Administrator Bozay for his excellent presentation on the municipal budget, something that we will work towards getting completed in the timeline that was indicated in this budget presentation. For my report for this evening, for the library board, January highlights include various events for children, teens, and adults that were well attended in all groups. The staff training day was held earlier this month. Homebound delivery service for those who can't get out of the house to get to the library had a soft launch and appears to be working out well. Just working out some kinks. This Saturday, February 15th, from 1 to 4 p.m. is the Lunar New Year event, which will include a number of cultural performances along with refreshments, crafts, and a scavenger hunt. The annual Winterfest event will be held on March 1st, another Saturday, from 12 to 3 p.m. and will take place in the rear parking lot of the library. Library is offering Yodo cards that are loaded with books and stories. Friends of the Ramsey Library have provided their donation to support the Museum Pass Lending Program, and the library is working on a project to replace flooring and repainting of the meeting room. The Recreation Commission, the winter sports, basketball and wrestling are in progress. Spring sports registration for adult softball leagues will begin shortly, and the RBSA and Ramsey Junior Lacrosse registrations are through their own organizations. The Rec Commission will start utilizing Team Snap for team management and scheduling to avoid conflicts with the pool accounts. And the Easter egg hunt, in partnership with the Ramsey Fire Department, will be held on Saturday, April 12th in the morning, with more information to follow. The Ramsey Farmers Market is open from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. and continuing this schedule through April. There are still upwards of 50 dedicated farmers and food purveyors each and every Sunday. The director is planning many interesting events in 2025 once the weather gets warmer. And there is an ability to have some of the food or produce delivered to your house. Just check the Farmers Market's website for more information on that one. Sadly, I did not attend on Sunday due to the inclement weather.
Well, there was no farmer's market on Sunday.
Because of the inclement weather?
Yeah, they canceled
That's
it.
why I didn't go, I guess. I guess it wasn't
You
good.
sensed it.
You knew it, you know.
That's all I have for this evening.
Thank you, Councilman. For my public safety report, first I want to thank you, congratulate Aiden Brewer on his appointment as probationary police officer, and to the appointments of Colin Gurney, Jessica Gurney, and Colleen Scanlon to the Ramsey Municipal Alliance. Currently, the Ramsey Emergency Service Complex project is being reassessed. The challenge given to those design professionals involved is to accommodate both the present and future needs of the Ramsey Volunteer Fire Department, Ramsey Rescue Squad, and the Ramsey Office of Emergency Management, as well as to stay within the feasible budget parameters initially estimated, regardless of the current rise in inflation and construction costs. Once this process is completed, select borough officials will review the new plan, its functionality and cost, before presenting it to the full mayor and council and the public. There'll be more to come on this as things develop, and at this time I don't have any VFW report. Thank you, and we will move on to building, planning and zoning. Councilwoman Jane Woods.
Thank you, Council President. Congratulations again to Probationary Officer Aiden Brewer, and also to Colin Gurney and Jessica Gurney and Bellin Scanlon for their service on the Municipal Alliance. I would also like to thank Borough Administrator Bozay, CFO Bartolotta, and Councilman Gutwetter, and everyone else who worked so hard on this year's budget presentation. I think it's so impressive how we lay everything out, so thank you. Design Review Board last met on January 28th and had one application for the Manny Lounge on Island Ave. The next Design Review Board meeting is Tuesday, February 25th. The Senior Trustees will meet tomorrow, February 13th, and the Zoning Board of Adjustment will meet February 19th. I have two updates. I just want to say that I joined the Eagle Scout Board of Review and had the pleasure of seeing Dylan Hunt be approved for full rank of Eagle Scout. So that is very exciting. I have a paragraph on adult daycare. At the last Leisure Club meeting, a resident asked the mayor if the borough would consider adult daycare. This would be for able adults that need socialization, not memory care. I spoke to professionals in the industry, and there is a reason there are not many of these types of facilities, even though there are many dementia care locations. These facilities are also highly regulated and require licensed caregivers, and there is also an enormous liability component. We do not have the ability to run this type of facility, and it is really a business. It's an expensive business that we are not able to take on. So I just wanted to provide an update on that. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Does anyone have a report for utilities, buildings, and grounds from Councilwoman Judy Cusick? No? Okay, we'll move on. Public and governmental relations, Councilwoman Sarah Fisher-Poppy.
Thank you, Council President Kilman. First, I would like to congratulate Aiden Brewer as a probationary police officer, his appointment today, as well as Colin and Jessica Gurney and Belinda Scanlon. Belinda has actually offered to take on the role of coordinator, which the Municipal Alliance really needs. So I'm grateful to all of them, especially Belinda for stepping up into a leadership role right off the bat. On February 3rd, there was a stigma-free meeting. Glenn will speak about this further. The Ramsey Journal will be coming out sometime between the 7th and 21st of April. I have a note out to the printer just to get their timeline. I will confirm that in the next couple of days. On February 19th, there will be a pool commission meeting here at Borough Hall. This is a big meeting where they talk about the budget, so I encourage anyone who's interested in attending. On March 9th, there will...
Please enter your PIN followed by the pound or hash. If you do not know your PIN, please enter pound or hash. Thank you.
Okay, on March 9th, there will be a new resident mixer from 10 to 12 at the community center. This is open to anyone who's moved to town since the start of 2024 through now. Come and meet the mayor and council and the Ramsey Police Department and have bagels and coffee with us. Also, thank you to Bruce Bozay for his wonderful presentation on the budget, and to Denise Bertola for her work, and Mike Gutwetter for his work on the budget as well. Good job. Thank you.
Council President, I do have a report from Councilwoman Cusick,
Okay.
if you want me to read it.
Oh, yes. You're done? Councilwoman Poppy?
Or do you want to
Do
do
Glenn
yours
first?
first?
Okay,
Yeah,
Glenn,
okay.
why don't, Councilman,
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
why don't you do yours? Okay.
Thank you, Council President Kilman. Congratulations to Aiden on his new position with probationary police officer, and congratulations also to Colin, Jessica, and Belen on their appointments for Municipal Alliance, and as well, thank you to Borough Administrator Bozay and his staff for the budget work and presentation. Very much appreciated. I know the hard work that's gone into it. For Rife, they had a successful winter dance a couple of weeks ago, and it was well attended. Basketball continues, as it will be off this Saturday due to the holiday, but then we'll pick up again on the 22nd, so the schools will be open. As Sarah mentioned, I did attend the Ramsey Stigma-Free meeting that we had, and it was well attended. We had about 15 individuals in attendance, represented from all across, from the schools, as well as Municipal Alliance, as well as, you know, myself from the council, and kind of going through. We did agree upon having one main event in May, which will be the free walk and the talkathon kind of that they did, I believe, last year with it too, or maybe the year before, but it will be at the high school. They're just solidifying the date for that. We did have, like I said, representation from the school. They did go through the different elements of ambassador, the task force members and volunteers, and we had 3 individuals, you know, come tonight, which was great to see. We didn't scare them off, so it was good that we have that. They did talk about different things that they would do with Stigma-Free and kind of break off a little bit from Municipal Alliance and get into more, how do we start getting on our own for that group and do things around donations, sponsors, and different events that we kind of have. So it was a really, really good meeting, and the next meeting will be the March 3rd at 7:30 for that. So a very, very good good meeting to kick off and go. Environmental Committee, we met yesterday, and we're beginning the stages of Sustainable Jersey, so we'll go for the bronze medal for that one. This Saturday, Ramsey is hosting styrofoam recycling from 10 to 12, weather permitting, with connection with Upper Saddle River and Allendale. And then the next styrofoam recycle will be in May, so we'll rotate for all those towns in there at least once a quarter to kind of do that. And that's really the basic it for the Environmental Board of Ed. The next meeting is 2/25. So I have to report.
Thank you, Councilman Poplar.
Yep.
And we will
Do you want to have
pass
the
this
mayor?
down. Yes, please, to Ms. Bendian, who has the report from Councilwoman Judy Cusick.
The Ramsey Planning Board meeting, they, at the February 4th meeting, they had 5 waivers which were approved. There was a hearing for the Ramsey Board of Public Works monopole, where the planning board recommended the project to the mayor and council. At our next mayor and council meeting, I will provide a report and be available for questions. The hearing for 663 Crescent Plaza has been carried to March 18th. The next meeting is scheduled for February 18th. The Shade Tree Commission met on January 16th. The next meeting is scheduled for February 20th. Board of Public Works, they last met on January 27th. The next meeting is February 24th, the last Monday of the month on account of the President's Day holiday. Water Conservation Plan. H2M completed the update to Ramsey's Water Conservation Plan for submission to the NJDEP. H2M worked with Ramsey to include the updated data needed to prepare the plan. The revised Water Conservation Plan was uploaded online to the NJDEP portal by DeBlock Environmental on December 30th. Per and polyfluorinated substances, PFAS, are a group of chemicals used to make fluoropolymer coatings and products that resist heat, oil stains, grease, and water. There are US EPA and PFAS water quality limits which impact our water supply. H2M, our architectural and engineering firm, is working with the Ramsey Water Department regarding treatment approaches. Lead service line replacement. The Board of Public Works continues planning and implementing regarding the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection's lead service line replacement legislation. This project requires that all lead service lines served by the water system be replaced by the year 2031. And once again, I give great thanks to our Department of Public Works as it works so hard with snow and ice removal on our borough streets, including the counties, and sidewalks.
Thank you, Ms. Bendian. Now, we pass it over to our mayor, Deirdre Dunn.
Thank you very much, Council President.
Thank you and congratulations to Belinda Scanlon, Colin and Jessica Gurney for joining the RMA, especially to Belinda for stepping up as the coordinator. That's a big job and very important. I'd like to thank Mr. Kelly at Smith School. He invited me to his 7th grade science class to talk about alternate forms of energy. And they talked about geothermal, wind, solar, tidal, all kinds of stuff. So it was very, very interesting. Not sure we can really implement much of that here in Ramsey, but nonetheless, it was very thought-provoking. Congratulations to Aiden Brewer being appointed a probationary police officer. And thank you to Borough Administrator Bozay, CFO Bartolotta, and Councilman Gutwiner for the budget. You did a great job as usual. And I remember when we first joined the council many, many moons ago, we would still be talking about the budget in July. So I find it absolutely amazing that we were able to pass it in March in the first quarter. That's quite the improvement. The DPW did do a great job on this last couple of storms, so thank you. I know they put in a lot of long hours, those guys. Unfortunately, there was a structural fire on Sunday evening, and so I want to thank all the emergency services that were there, fire, rescue, OEM, ambulance, and we got a lot of mutual aid from Mawa, Wyckoff, Allendale, I think Midland Park. So that was really nice of everybody to come out and help us out on, the evening of the Super Bowl. And the family's been displaced. Fortunately, they have family in the area that they can stay with. And one last thing, I want to thank St. Paul's. Officer Cardenas, Chief Lyman and I went to the Spanish-speaking Mass on Sunday. And Officer Cardenas and I spoke to the parishioners that were there. Just letting them know that they're safe to come to the Ramsey Police Department. They will not be reported to ICE if they do come to the Ramsey Police Department for help, because I was told by members of the Spanish-speaking community that there's a real concern, and so it needed to be addressed. So we did that on Sunday. I imagine we'll probably go again in March or April because the Mass wasn't well attended due to various factors. But that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Borough Administrator, Mr. Bruce Jose.
Thank you, Council President. I'll just comment on a couple items that are on the agenda tonight. Resolution 43, this last May, the governing body adopted its Resolution 167 of 2024 to authorize the planning board to prepare a redevelopment plan in accordance with the redevelopment law and transmit the proposed redevelopment plan to the mayor and council for its consideration. Given the time from last May to today, we're proposing and updating that approval with the same resolution so that timely notices called for in the resolution may be sent out prior to consideration of the redevelopment plan. Resolution 44 on the agenda is a pro forma resolution. The state provides municipalities the flexibility of extending deadlines for filing of annual financial statements and the introduction and adoption of a municipal budget. The borough's already filed our annual financial statements in compliance with the statutory date with no extension needed, and we plan to do the same with the budget timeline with no extension, but the orders suggest just to do this to adopt and preserve flexibility since there's no downside, so we pass that resolution tonight. Resolution 46 awards a contract to Garden State Fireworks for our Independence Day celebration, which this year will be on the evening of Thursday, July 3rd, and a rain date of Sunday, July 6th. The reason there's a gap between the rain date and the original date is the 4th and 5th, it's impossible to schedule as a rain date. So we were not able to do that. So we will, hopefully with Thursday, July 3rd, the weather will cooperate and everybody will be off the next day. We do have an ordinance on for introduction tonight. This again is an ordinance to exceed the municipal cap appropriation limits and to establish a cap bank. It's a pro forma standard ordinance, again, that municipalities across New Jersey adopt each year as the state allows you to, ahead of adopting your budget. It allows the municipality, if they adopt this ordinance, to potentially increase their budget appropriations within cap by up to 3.5% from the prior year's budgeted appropriations. This does not impact the tax levy cap of 2%. It deals with appropriation line items under the state municipal cap and allows flexibility if in a given year certain line items need to be increased above the cap You can use things that, funds that were appropriate, room that was appropriated and reserved from the prior year. While Ramsey may not utilize this flexibility, again, there's no harm in adopting the ordinance, and any amount under that, as I mentioned, the allowable level that a town has can be banked for potential use in future years. And that would conclude my comments.
Thank you, Mr. Bosay. Counselor?
Nothing, thank you.
Ms. Bendian?
I have nothing, thank you.
Well, let's move to introduction of ordinances, and I will turn it over to Councilman Mike Gutler.
Thank you, Council President Tillman. This is the introduction of ordinance 03-2025. Be it resolved that an ordinance entitled Ordinance to Exceed Municipal Budget Appropriation Limits and to Establish a Cap Bank passed their first reading by title, and that said ordinance be further considered for final passage and adoption at the regular meeting of the mayor and council to be held on the 26th day of February 2025, 7 p.m. prevailing time or as soon after as the matter can be reached at the municipal building in said borough, and be it further resolved that the borough clerk be, and she hereby is instructed to publish in an official newspaper of the borough in the manner provided by law, a copy of said ordinance together with notice of introduction thereof, and notice when the same will be considered for final passage and adoption.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Are there any further comments on them?
No, Council President Kilman, Borough Administrator Jose gave an explanation in his report.
Okay, thank you. Can we have a roll call, please?
Councilman Gutwetter,
Yes.
Councilman Kilman,
Yes.
Councilman Popolo,
Yes.
Councilwoman Poppy.
Yes.
Councilwoman Woods.
Yes.
Thank you. Do we have any unfinished business? Is there any new business? Not hearing any. May I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
Second.
Second. Thank you very much. Good night, everyone.
Thank you. Safe home.
You started this, right?
I did.